Alright guys, we are back. By the end of this episode, we'll be done with this dungeon. It'll be the last dungeon that we need to tackle for a long time as a child. There's a few more dungeons that we need to tackle as a child after we've completed a whole bunch of adulthood type tasks. But this is the last dungeon we'll be tackling as a child for a long time. Alright, let's start the footage. Like we saw last episode, we just completed a really frustrating mini-boss, and in this episode we basically tackle the boss. It's not too far after the mini-boss that we do tackle the main boss. We just need to kill these jellyfish first. Just going to use the boomerang to the best of our abilities. Collect some money. So we can hear a gold sculpture, but it's not on this side of the room. I don't think these enemies trigger the enemy theme music that strongly. Right, do not climb straight up this wall because you will directly hit a gold sculpture. Need to kill it first before you move up onto it. I thought maybe it was a bit further up the room than this. I like how the sound changes when you're underwater. It's pretty cool. Alright, we killed the gold sculpture. Next thing that we have to do is basically open up the boss room. It's not hard to do. It is a little bit confusing though, because you have to boomerang around a shield. Some sort of like cobwebbing or some sort of mucus. But luckily it's not too hard. So we just jump directly down, I think. Context sensitive button's not helping us here. It's difficult because it does change very quickly, like what the context sensitive button triggers. Right, let's pause for a moment and reflect what has happened in this dungeon before we go into the boss. Because this is a pretty hard boss. This is not an easy boss by any stretch of the imagination. Right, so I think we should be ready by now. Our reflection is over. We have meditated very carefully. We have a couple of fairies, so just in case we die, we can be revived. But I don't think we're going to need them. Alright, get ready for the boss. I like the cinematic sequence here, because you're kind of like, what on earth is that? I have no idea what I'm looking at. I think I just need to refresh my RAM. It has a lot of components to it, which makes this a really interesting boss. So the first thing that you have to do in order to tackle this boss is you need to kind of unhook it from the ceiling. It does look like a kind of microbe as well. It looks like a piece of bacteria, like a cell of bacteria. One that has like radio antennas that can shoot like lasers at you. I'm not sure what it is shooting at you. What would you call that in biological terms? Is it poison? Right, we've now unhooked it from the ceiling. The next thing that we have to do is hit it with a sword, basically. And I don't do many jump attacks here. Probably could have helped myself a little bit later on by doing jump attacks, but we do land some nice jump attacks a little bit later. What we have to do now is we have to somehow penetrate this shield of jellyfish spinning around, and we do that by throwing the boomerangs. Once the shield has been penetrated, we need to take out the jellyfish one by one, because that'll make it a bit easier to disable the Baronade. I'm not sure what that means, but we need to disable this some sort of biological virus. And so you'll keep repeating this sequence until you kill all the jellyfish, at which stage it will become stunned, and you'll be able to make some really nice jump attacks at it. We could probably make some jump attacks at it now, but the jellyfish do lock onto you and kill you, so it's best to get rid of the jellyfish straight away. stay still for too long, you will be hit by lasers. Right, now time for the jump attacks. We're going to stun it with the boomerang. And land some nice attacks. And it is quite generous with you. You can land quite a few jump attacks. And make sure you don't walk in 180 degree angles away from it, otherwise the lasers will get you. It's really satisfying to land jump attacks on a boss. To really do the double time damage. And the choreograph nature of this boss battle is really good. The dancing backwards and forwards throughout the room. We finally took care of the boss. This is an excellent boss. I really do enjoy this boss. This is one of the best bosses of like any Zelda game, I think. It's just so disgusting when it finally like obliterates into like green mucus. And we're rewarded with some glitchiness now. So we can see the heart piece kind of behind the green mucus. But we're still able to get it anyway. I thought maybe we were standing in the middle of the transport beacon already, but it's actually on the other side of the room. We didn't even need any heart pieces, which was good, or any refill hearts. Here's our partner in this dungeon. There's definitely like an otaku dimension to this game. Like there's a lot of princesses which are kind of Link suitors, and I mean nothing is ever kind of consummated or they never kiss or anything, but there's a lot of teasing. Like this, for instance. And of course Link thinks it's disgusting, but when you're a little boy you're kind of like, ooh, you know, a girl likes me. Makes the old 8-year-old heart race. What is that eye on her ear, or whatever? It's a bit freaky. Looks like she's got a conjoined twin. I think we're just gonna straight up ask her for the spiritual stone. Yeah, just get straight to business. This is a business transaction, no emotions involved. Link is just like, I would like the spiritual stone. Kind of summons it out of the ether. I do kind of like how the different spiritual stones are named after actual precious stones, like emerald, ruby, and sapphire. That is quite nice. I love the polygonal nature of these spiritual stones. They're really nice to look at. I think I do linger a little bit on this one, so we can just look at it really nicely. I like how it reflects the light and how the alpha transparency is perfect. It's just right. I love the gold texture as well. It's really nice to look at. Alright, we've got all 3 spiritual stones. Now we basically have to return to the Temple of Time, even though we've never been there, not even once in this Let's Play. We're coming kind of to the end of the Let's Play now, but there's a few more things that we have to do. Like we'll get a gold sculpture here at night time that we can finally take care of using the boomerang. Let's speed this up for you so you can see what it's like in double time. 5 times speed actually. I think it's really beautiful how the light reflections work. They really managed to nail a lot of the aesthetic features of the game, even though it is quite glitchy at times. I guess they just didn't have enough time for play testing or whatever. So I was getting a little bit confused there before. We need to head up onto this log, not that tree before. It's this log that we need to head up onto. And we need to make it night, because there'll be a gold sculpture kind of behind us. I thought maybe it was on this log, but I think there is one on this log at night time when you're an adult. So you Skulltula. Skulltula. Gotta swap back our boomerang. Alright, I think we'll leave it here for this episode. We're basically finishing up childhood. We will do quite a few things at the beginning of adulthood this week because I'm going to be releasing 20 minutes a day. But the next few things that we have to do is basically clean up the rest of childhood before we get a few more weapons that might become of use a bit later on. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit.